we come to the online services. And right, so in online services, we are basically looking at different types of services that are offered through World Wide Web, especially online shopping, online banking, and later on about the cloud services. And as you can see, first they're talking about online shopping sites. Now almost all of us have gone to the shopping site and we have ordered things online. And most of the time they ask this question, what are the features of online shopping sites, right? So any shopping site, you would see that there are images of the product description is there. Sometimes the image zooms in for us to view have a good view of the product. Then the product price is there. Then you would see the ratings, so that we can see how other customers have decided on this product, what their reviews are. You can check the reviews. Product code, popularity of the product, that's based on the reviews, and the number of items in stock, that is also known. And also apart from this, most of these sites have a shopping cart, so that we can add these items to the shopping cart. And then there's a checkout. There are payment options, different payment options. We can also create accounts so that it can monitor our shopping habits and items that we select. And most of the time, because of the account, we don't have to enter the same details over and over again, especially the credit card details and so on, and also our details, shipping address and things like that. So basically it gives quite a good experience for us, online shopping experience. There are a lot of advantages and disadvantages of this method, and as we can see, even given the current situation, online shopping has become much more convenient, because you don't have to wait in long queues, keeping 1 meter distance. But at the same time, you see that some of the online shopping owners are trying to make money out of this situation, right? And we saw what happened to Carrefour the day before yesterday. So these are quite good experiences that we hear, so that we can answer these questions with a lot of valid points, right? Okay, so when a customer selects a product, it can add it into an online basket. So this is called shopping cart or online basket. And some of these services, they give voucher codes at the checkout in order to receive the discount. They monitor discounts. You can see some of the online shopping sites. They at the top of this site, they usually have these voucher codes. And when you enter that code online, automatically some amount will be deducted. Or customers can shop as guest, or they can create an account. So if you are a guest, you don't store any details in the site, but when you create an account, you will be storing your personal information, and that will be related to DPA, Data Protection Act, because you are giving your personal details to another party, so they have to abide by the rules of the DPA, right? Then you have booking systems like airline ticketing, train tickets, and so on, right? So all these are online systems because they are connected to a network, usually the internet. And also these are real-time systems because at a given time, there will be a lot of requests coming in, and they have to handle all these requests, especially booking systems. Actually, online shopping is also like that. So they need to handle all these requests. So they are real time. They have to be updated as soon as a transaction is performed. They are real time as well as they are online systems, right? Okay. Then e-ticketing, for example, right? Is another online booking system. an electronic version of the paper ticket is given, especially when you're booking airlines, right? And so that you don't need to wait in long queues to process your ticket. It's convenient for you. And some airlines and train companies use QR codes or matrix codes that can be scanned at airport on trains. So by scanning the QR code, it will be linked to a database with information, so that they can view the information on their computer screen. So e-ticket, if you electronic means it's not supposed to be printed, but you can print it and keep it. But usually what you do is you keep it on your phone so that you can show it to them, or if you have a QR code, those people can scan the QR code and the relevant information will be displayed on the computer. So these, when a seat is booked, it is automatically reserved in the database, so that for the next customer, it shows only the available seats. Right? So this will be left out, and all the available seats will be displayed. And if that person cancels the seat, it will be made available again. So that's why these systems should be real-time systems. So when the next customer comes in, it should be up to date. Right, so it should not say that this seat is available for the next customer. Banks also like that. We have online banking service. Right, these days it's very important because we are afraid to go to the ATM system. It's quite risky, but you can do your transactions online, so that will reduce the risks. But if you really want to use the actual cash, then there's no other way other than going to ATM. But most of the transactions, payments can be done through online banking system. So what kind of things are available in online banking? You can check balances. You can set alerts, so that the alert will be sent to your email or the phone as an SMS. You can make payments online. You can do fund transfer. This is called EFT, electronic fund transfer. And then you can apply for loans. You can write to them. You can send emails. Right? Managing alerts, notifications of payments and balance amounts. Accessing customer service and help systems. You can do that through the online system. You don't need to call them. And changing personal information. You can even change your addresses, telephone numbers, etc. Then these online, another type of online service is education and training providers. These days, you are doing these online exams. We had, before the online exam, we had kind of pre-mocks. We gave you a training on how to do this online exam. So that's part of this. So you can see the importance of these kind of online services in a worldwide crisis like this. In online training, you have access to libraries, online journals, reference and archives. Archives are old content, and those are not copies, those are the original content. Let's say past books and things like that, notes and everything, those are archives. Online support from teachers and learners, so they will be available. You see, these days when you have troubles in Teams, we are available to support you online. Learning and assessment materials can be made online. Right, actually that's something I'm doing right now, uploading this video for your reference. And also in this particular category, you can also have VLEs, virtual learning environment. So Microsoft Teams is not really a VLE, but Office 365 can be taken as a VLE because it has features of VLE, but it's not really a complete virtual learning environment because it's more into cloud computing. VLE is also a type of cloud service. So things like Moodle that we saw some time back is a VLE, virtual learning environment, where you can upload materials, make them available, have chat. So basically we see these features are available in Office 365 as well. Right, then gaming sites, online gaming sites, that's another online service. There are online servers, remote servers, where the games are installed. So what you do is you log into these servers, create accounts, you ask your users to join, and then you be in a online multiplayer game, right? We saw a term called MMORPG some time back, massively multiplayer online role-player gaming. So this kind of games can be played online using these gaming sites. And everything is happening in real time. All these online services are happening in real time, then and there. Right? And also weather forecasting, news and other information providers now. For example, if you see this site, right, which gives the state of corona worldwide in real time. Now if I refresh this, you can see these figures are updated. These figures are updated, right? So it's a real-time tracker. These people, they are uploading data from around the world, from all these countries. Now you can see these figures have increased. It's ever increasing, ever going down. You can see what's happening right now. So this is what real time is. And this is updated as you refresh. You will see so many people dead. It's a really pathetic situation. Right. So let's hope that this will be ended soon. Right, so access to real-time information like weather and these situations, right? Crisis situations. News providers give up to date access to stories using blogs, notifications that are sent to subscribers. Subscribers can choose to receive alerts on stories from a range of categories. Right? So when you subscribe to this service, they will send this information as notifications or SMS notification or alerts, emails and so on. Right? Now you see doctor is sending email notifications to all of you and your parents, because your parents are subscribed to this gateway mail service, right? So you have access to weather, sports, stock markets, currency values and so on, right? Then there's something called auction sites. Now you know what an auction is, right? In auctions they sell this stuff, right? And when people bid, so it will be sold to the highest bidder. Now this is also a real-time system. Allows sellers to list items for sale for a certain period of time and allow buyers to offer money for these items, which is called bidding. When the auction ends, the buyer who has offered the most money completes the checkout process, similar to used of shopping sites. So for the highest bidder, they give the item, right? Auction sites provide ratings for the buyers. Buyer with a higher rating has been rated by sellers for being reliable and paying on time. Sellers can choose to only accept offers from buyers with a high rating. So all these things can be set automatically. set to operate automatically from the site. Right? If a buyer does not pay, then the seller can either try to sell the item again or sell it to the buyer who offered the second highest item. Right? Auction sites also provide ratings for the sellers. The seller with a higher rating has been rated by buyers for being reliable and sending items promptly. It's just like eBay, for example. Right? If they send the item for which we pay, and if it comes on time, we would give a higher rating for the seller, so that it helps the other buyers to select that seller. So similarly, in auction sites, they allow us to rate. It allows the rating for the buyer as well as the seller. Buyers can choose not to bid on items sold by unreliable sellers. If a buyer offers money for an item but someone else offers more money, some auction sites will alert the first buyer. That's it. Now, normally in an auction, a real auction area, auction site, not the online thing, right? You see that we have to be there all the time until the end of the auction. But in online auction, the thing is, you don't have to be there. You just set your bidding requirements, and there are bots that can be used in auction sites, web bots. They will place the bidding for you if you set the requirements, so that you don't really need to stay in touch all the time. And with the notifications and alerts, you can stay in touch with the bidding process. That's what they say. If a buyer offers money for an item, someone else offers more money, some auction sites will alert the first buyer via email or app notifications. Some services also alert customers if the auction or an item that they have looked at is going to end soon, so that the buyer does not miss their chance to make an offer. So that if you are using a bot, of course, you don't need to make the bid, the bot will make the bid for you. So in that case, sometimes the bot may place higher bids without your consent. At the same time, the advantage would be that you don't have to stay in touch all the time. The bot will do it for you. Right, so let's look at some of the advantages and disadvantages of these online services. Mainly we look at online shopping, and this will be almost the same or quite similar to the other online services as well, right? So if you're buying goods online, following are examples of benefits of online goods and services. You can look at well, you can look at on two sides. Advantage to the customer and the grocery, or the seller or the company that offers this service. Online grocery shopping allows customers to easily reorder the same products as they bought last time. It says then time, so you don't need to enter the details again and again, so this saves time of ordering. That's why you need to have an account. Avoid having to travel to the supermarket, so remember, you must write traveling to. You have to say traveling to where. This saves time and cost of traveling to the supermarket or the shop. Check whether items are in stock without having to walk around all the different products. So yeah, you can beforehand you can check whether the items are there, whether enough quantities there, right? Avoid having to wait in queues to pay. Yes, you don't have to wait in long queues to get the grocery shop, right? So even in this crisis, you saw that some of the people who are interested in placing the order online or through the phone, through an SMS, and getting the goods, and so those people didn't have to wait in long queues. Online booking systems for rail travel allows customers to avoid having to go to the station and buy tickets. So you can see it's almost the same advantage. You don't have to wait in long queues. It saves time and cost of traveling to the railway station. You'll be notified if there's a delay in the train. So some specific advantages are there compared to this. And here, of course, you will get online offers if you do online transactions more. If you look at online banking, avoid traveling to the bank. You don't need to carry actual cash, so it's much more safer. So that's a unique advantage of online banking compared to these two. Well, these two will also have it in terms of payment. Online learning services, avoid having to travel to colleges. You can do distant learning. That's what students are doing right now, especially universities. Avoid having to move closer to colleges, meaning that you do not have to move away from. Yeah, that's almost same as this. Here you can even refer to the previous lectures, notes, and podcasts, videos, and everything. That's an advantage. But if you attend the classes physically, you will not have that option if you miss that lesson. Online information providers allow people to receive weather alerts. That's about online information. Traffic advice, be rerouted automatically based on the information about traffic conditions ahead. Now you see this in Google Maps. When there's congestion, it automatically diverts you through another route. That's called rerouting, right? To original destination using a different route. So automatically it will ask, do you want to take this new route because there's traffic? So that's an example of rerouting. There are drawbacks as well in online services. The immediate availability. Now if you look at goods and online goods, online shopping, immediate availability of online service could make people less patient. Could make people less patient and more demanding of others. The immediate availability of online services could make people less patient and more demanding of others. So that means they become restless if they are not getting the service. Right? However, people should consider the following potential negative impacts of online goods and services. That means if the things are not working properly, and just imagine like if someone is paying for the online shopping and suddenly the internet connection breaks down and he will not be able to sleep even. He will keep on thinking about what happened to his money. People become more isolated as individuals detached from their real world community, so they will have less interaction, social interaction with other people, so they will feel more isolated. They will stay at home and order everything, but when they go to the shop, they tend to talk with the other customers. They tend to build up that relationship. For example, you can get friendly with the shop owner, and they come to know you, right? But if he keeps on sending online orders to you, he hasn't seen you, but he knows that he's sending to a particular address all the time, but he hasn't seen you, right? So no physical, no face-to-face interaction. Some people constantly check their online communication, such as social networking sites, which means that they spend less time connecting with people face-to-face. So again, it's similar to this one, lack of social interaction and more isolation. You feel the isolation these days. The effect of isolation these days a lot, right? It's terrible. People's use of online services means that there is less need to memorize facts. So there's a negative impact on memory. What does that mean? Okay, I think they are referring to like if you go and buy goods, you tend to remember the order list, right? And you would even go and calculate the total price from for you to check whether the Mudalal is doing a miscalculation or not, or is doing a fraud or not. Yeah, I think we are talking about that. People are becoming accustomed to skim reading online information, which makes them less likely to pay attention to details. Now, skim reading is reading quickly to get an initial idea. Just read. Like what you do when you get the exam question. Skim reading, right? So that is also a social impact. Yeah. Okay. So looks like that they have not really looked at online ordering. They're looking at impact of online goods and services collectively, everything, right? But if you really look at online ordering or online shopping, the disadvantage would be it takes time to get the good delivered, and the delivered good may not be of the same quality that you saw on the picture. Then of course that's not really a disadvantage because you can always get a replacement. The disadvantage would be to get a replacement, it takes time and maybe more money. And there can be online fraud like identity theft can occur. These sites may not be so reliable. Sometimes these sellers are not reliable, so they don't send the item. Then again you will have to write to those sellers and try to get it back, which can be time consuming. Well, on the other hand, some more advantages. You can do shopping 24/7 any time of the day, even when the shops are closed. You can order goods from all around the world, even across countries, and even if that product is not available in your area, you can get it. And you have the option of accessing a wide range of goods. You can have the option of comparing the goods in different sites, comparing the prices and everything by being in one place. And you can get these goods delivered to your doorstep. This helps especially the disabled people. It increases accessibility. The benefits and drawbacks of online service on individuals' lifestyle and behavior. You can see more time can be spent with the family and friends. Benefit, and because we can spend that time on other activities. Safer lifestyle. Individuals are more engaged with creative media. Drawbacks: more time spent on online services. Individuals can be inconvenienced if no connectivity is available. Individuals may become less active, less social interaction. Right. The impact on the ways that organizations do business. I think we came across this earlier also. In operating online, we have improved communication because of the network, the internet, access to global markets, global workforce. We saw something like workspace, online workspace, where all the employees, they connect from all around the world and work through an online system. Use of big data to understand customer behavior. What was big data? Big data was the huge collection of data about a particular area over a long period of time, years and years. And then you use artificial intelligence on that to come up with various patterns, so that you can predict, you can make predictions based on those patterns. So here we are talking about petabytes of data, huge amounts of data, big data goes on that. And even for this outbreaks, they say like if big data can be used, you can easily find solutions for this. And we saw the world's fastest computer, IBM Summit, had been used for to find a cure for the coronavirus. We have been looking for substances that would work for coronavirus, and it had done some trillions of calculations in a second and come up with 70 70 kind of chemicals, right? And that news said that fastest computer, which is a supercomputer, is 100,000 times, sorry, 1 million, is 1 million times faster than the fastest laptop available at the moment. So it's unimaginable, right, the speed of it. So that's how these computers can be used, and also big data. The way in which organizations secure the business information, increased competition, like putting up a website and providing online services before other competitors start online business. What is a transaction? Now, transaction is basically some kind of data processing that is involved. This can be selecting products, even the payments, online payments. Basically, it's a data transfer between two devices, right? So online transaction happens through internet, and we can keep track of these online transactions. Right? For example, if you go to a online banking service, you can see what kind of transactions you have done for the past month or year or even years. You can get this data, right? This data is stored in cookies now, especially when you log into a transactional website. They use something called cookies. Now these cookies are small text files that are downloaded from that particular site to your computer. The idea is to store some vital information on your site so that they can access this file whenever they want, right? And the site doesn't need to ask you to provide those information every time. Instead, they put a file into your computer and store those important data in that file, and they will access that file whenever they want. So these are called cookies, small text files, right? Information that a website leaves on user's computer so that the website will recognize that user when they will use it again. So those are small text files that are stored in a user's computer when you access a transactional website. So what is a transactional website? It is usually it is a site where some kind of data transfer is involved between the client and server. Usually the shopping sites, banking sites, right? Where there's a login, where there's some kind of money transaction or data transaction happening. Examples of data that can be stored in a cookie. Now there are different types of cookies, but what basically we can store in cookies, the time and date of the transaction, IP address, your IP address, so that they can track where you are coming from, which country you are coming from. The referring website, the website previously visited, which linked the user to the website that are currently visiting. The website previously visited which linked the user to the website that they are currently visiting. That means like when the site comes when the site accesses your cookie next, it can see which websites you visited previously before coming to that site, and even the web pages, what kind of web pages you visited within that site. Products or services, or the categories of products and services that the user has previously viewed and bought. It can track, trace what kind of products you selected, what kind of products you added to the shopping basket, items added to the user's online shopping basket, buttons pressed by the user, data entered into web forms such as name, credit card number. All this information can be stored in these cookies. So you can see that there's some kind of threat created because of these cookies. If unauthorized users access these cookies, they will be able to get some vital information, right? So usually these details are stored in cookies in the form of encryption, so it's not really easy. There are different types of cookies available. Session cookies, for example, as the name says, session, they are active only for a certain session, for a time period, right? So when you log out from the website, the cookie is kind of expired. It's no more, right? When you log in, it enables the cookie, and then when you log out, it goes. So it maintains your activity. It records your activity throughout your log time. Persistent cookies, as the name says, these cookies will stay in the computer throughout. Are used to record information about users' use of the internet over time. Can be used to keep user logged into an online account so that they don't have to log in every time they visit a website. So especially like if you allow the site to stay connected throughout, stay logged in, and if you ask them to remember the username and passwords, they will use persistent cookies. These cookies allow advertisers to track users' use of the internet. See, the other thing is, like, when you are connected to internet, these cookies will still work, and you may have closed that website, but still they may be able to access, especially if some kind of processing is going on in the background. They will be able to access these cookies, persistent cookies, right? So that every time when you use that service again, you don't need to give your details over and over again. Especially username and passwords are kept in this persistent cookies. Third-party cookies, as the name says, third party. So these cookies do not belong to the site that we access, right? So especially the other business partners that the site is having connections with are using these third-party cookies. For example, you can see the banner advertisements, sponsored advertisements that you see in the site. They will install these cookies into your computer. Now, most of the time, when they use cookies, cookies, they should ask, you have seen, like, most of the sites, they ask, this site uses cookies, should I install the cookies? But some sites are there, they don't ask for the permission, especially like third-party cookies, right? These can be used to personalize users' online experience to send targeted advertisements. For example, they are used when the web page contains such banner advertisements for other websites. So these can be used for targeted marketing, right? Third-party cookies are used to do this. For example, if a user visits the web page that displays a banner advertisement from an ad server, because those ads are taken randomly based on your user experience. The ad server can store cookie on that user's device. Then the user then visits a different web page that uses the same ad server, and the cookie will be stored on that device as well, on their device, because that server can request. Okay. So you can see that usually these third-party cookies are stored without your permission. Okay. You can change the settings of your browser to block third-party cookies. As a security precaution, you can stop installing cookies, but certain times if that site is a valid site and legit site, and if you have kept the cookies blocked, you will not get their proper service. Sometimes this is basically part of filter bubble, where they can cater the right information for you, so you will not have that chance. On the other side, if you keep these third-party sites cookies blocked, you can safeguard your personal information. Each time the banner loads, the web pages that the banner has been loaded can also be tracked. The ad server can then select advertisements to display the banner that match the user's browsing history. This is what you see, when you have purchased something, or when you have booked a hotel or something from another country or something, and you will see the advertisements are related to that country or that hotel offers are displayed whenever you go to other sites, because that server has been tracking you, your user experience, because they have already installed their cookies in the browser. So when you type these keywords in the search engine, they are being tracked. Right. Okay, so that's the end. Which one of these is not provided by the banks as an online service? It's paying checks. You can use checks in online banking service. State 2 ways in which education providers can use online services. They can use this downloading services, VLEs, podcasts, video tutorials. State 3 features of shopping websites. You have a shopping cart, you have payment options, ratings, right, and description, reviews, and so on. Explain why auction sites provide ratings for buyers, so that then provide ratings for the buyers. So rating is given for the buyer. So the buyer can explain why auction sites provide ratings for the buyer. So buyers can rate who? The sellers. Right? So the sellers can no, it should be the other way, no? Sellers can see the trusted buyers. Yeah, okay. So here it's a bit tricky. This is rating buyers. We can rate the buyers, so that helps the sellers, right? So sellers can see who are the trusted buyers. This allows them to do safe transaction, right? They can go through the rating and find out the buyers who can be trusted to do transactions. Explain why banks use HTTPS for their online services. Well, when HTTPS is used, it uses a separate layer of encryption, which is based on SSL or TLS security protocol. So what actually happens is it uses public key encryption on the data that you submit from the client to the server, right? So it's an explain type question, so you need to justify your answer. So because it encrypts, if an unauthorized user gets hold of the data, they cannot understand it because it's jumbled up. They cannot understand it without decrypting. Explain the benefit of e-ticketing for airline tickets. So no need to check in. It saves time, right? You don't need to wait in long queues. It saves time for the both airline and the passenger. State one drawback of the use of third-party cookies. Well, it can steal your privacy because if unauthorized users can have access to it, they can steal your personal information. On the other side, it creates a filter bubble because it filters the content, it decides the content that should be displayed to you through the advertisements. You are not getting the advertisements, variety of advertisements, but you get advertisement related to your previous search criteria. State 3 examples of data that can be stored in cookies. You can store the IP address, the date and time of the transaction, your credentials, data that you enter to the web forms, the keywords that you type. State the difference between session cookies and persistent cookies. Session cookie is used only for the logged in time for that particular session time period. Once you log out or once you close the browser, it expires. Persistent cookies, they stay in your computer throughout, storing vital information like credentials, so that next time when you log in, you don't need to give those details, right? State the way in which news services can use a feature of smartphones apps to keep the user up to date. Well, notifications and alerts. These notifications can be app notifications and alerts can be SMS alerts. Discuss how the use of cookies by organization impacts on individuals. Well, impact, when they say impact, it's an 8-mark question. You can talk about positive side and the negative side. Well, we can first talk about what a cookie is, and then you can talk about different types of cookies, and then you can talk about how important they are when you use transactional websites. For example, if you take a session cookie, it closes when you log out, so it provides some kind of security because and also in session cookies you must have seen, like when you are logged in and when you are idle without doing anything, it automatically expires the session, so that you will be asked to log in again. So that kind of security is provided on that. On the other hand, if you look at negative impact in persistent cookies, if unauthorized users have access to persistent cookies, they can steal our credentials. They may be able to steal our credentials, but it's not easy. And if you look at third-party cookies, a disadvantage is the filter bubble, the content filtering for us. Okay, so that's it. That's online services.